You ever seen someone so convinced they're right, so fired up they'll drag you into a courtroom over something that never even happened? Yeah, that's the day. Karen Whitmore, self-appointed legal genius and neighborhood menace, marched right into my life thinking she could take down me and my golden retriever buddy with nothing but an iPhone, a wild imagination, and some of the worst legal paperwork you've ever seen. Let me tell you, it turned my boring Tuesday into a front row seat for the greatest legal comedy I've ever witnessed. If you've ever wondered just how far delusion can go, buckle up because this is one for the record books. Now, a little background on me. I'm David Martinez, 34 years old, paralegal by trade, 8 years in the trenches, prepping cases, sorting through evidence, and making sure lawyers don't show up to court with their pants on backwards. My days are usually spent buried in depositions, wrangling mountains of paperwork, chasing down signatures, and keeping everything airtight and legal. I'm not some hotshot lawyer, but I know my way around a courtroom, and I sure as hell know what real evidence looks like. Mostly, I just want to sip my coffee in peace and throw tennis balls for Buddy. But as fate would have it, Karen had other plans. It started on one of those perfect September mornings, when the air finally cools down and you remember why you put up with Texas summers. I'm out back, laptop open, Buddy snoozing in the shade, just a peaceful scene until all hell broke loose. The 6-foot privacy fence between my place and Karen's was already a Cold War zone. She'd been my neighbor for 6 months and already tried to claim part of my driveway, swore my mailbox was actually hers, and called the HOA 3 times about my offensive vegetable garden. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what came next. My back gate flies open like a cop raid, and here comes Karen, hot pink jogging suit, red-faced hair pulled so tight it looked painful. She's filming on her phone, yelling like she's got the evidence of the century, accusing my vicious pit bull of mauling her precious little dog. She's waving vet bills in my face, demanding payment, threatening to sue, promising to ruin my life. Honestly, I thought I was being pranked. Buddy just kind of looked up, wagged his tail, then flopped back down, clearly not the pit bull of her nightmares. So I said, "Ma'am, I don't own a pit bull. Never have." "You sure you're at the right house?" That set her off even more. Now she's talking about ironclad evidence and waving her phone like she's got the Zapruder film on there. I ask to see it. She clutches it like its nuclear launch codes, declares she'll only show it to the judge, and storms out shouting about lawyers and vengeance and her traumatized dog named Precious. And there I am, mouth hanging open, Buddy finally interested enough to get up and sniff the air like maybe there's a treat in it for him. A couple weeks go by. Just when I'm ready to laugh it off as a fever dream, I get a certified letter, Whitmore Legal Consulting. Sounds fancy, right? One quick Google search, and turns out it's just Karen who dropped $30 online to create a law firm the week before. The letterhead looked like it was designed by a 6th grader, complete with Microsoft clip art and Comic Sans. Inside, it's a ransom note pay, watch $3,000 for vet bills, emotional distress. And the replacement value of Precious, supposedly a rare Pomeranian worth $2,000. All written in pseudo-legal gibberish words like heretofore and pursuant sprinkled in at random. If you've ever seen someone try to sound smart by Googling legal words, you get the idea. At this point, it was just sad. I wrote her back politely on real letterhead using actual legal language, explained I owned one dog, not a pit bull, and asked for evidence. "Let's handle this like grown-ups," I said. She fired back in 3 days, even angrier now, accusing me of witness intimidation and harassment, threatening court for even more money. She even attached 3 witness statements from neighbors, all written in handwriting that looked suspiciously like her own, just with different pen pressures. The escalation was wild. She started a campaign in the neighborhood Facebook group calling Buddy dangerous, spinning her story bigger and bolder every day. First, her dog was scared. Then 2 weeks later, it needed surgery. By month's end, Precious had apparently been a therapy dog for her wheelchair-bound mother and needed months of rehab. She printed up flyers with stock photos of snarling pit bulls, bright yellow paper, my address in bold red, calling for immediate action. She even started a change.org petition to get Buddy banned, which got 3 signatures. All accounts created the same week, no photos, no friends. Meanwhile, I'm quietly gathering everything, screenshots, emails, flyers, statements from neighbors. See, my years in legal work taught me document everything, stay calm, don't feed the drama. My neighbors rallied. Mrs. Peterson, retired school teacher, said she'd never seen any small dog at Karen's place. Mr. Johnson across the street saw the whole confrontation, said Karen was yelling about a dog that didn't exist. The Patels, 2 houses down, let Buddy come to their kid's birthday party, offered to testify he's a sweetheart. Even the mail carrier, who's seen every dog in the area for 8 years, wrote a note for me. The real kicker, not one person had ever seen Precious. Not once. As the court date crept closer, Karen got bolder. She'd built a 3-inch binder labeled "Evidence," full of printouts about pit bull attacks, random internet photos of dog bites, and timelines that contradicted themselves every other page. She even showed up at my door one night, binder in hand, best business suit on, and offered to settle if I'd just admit guilt and pay Tutty $500. I declined politely. She laughed and told me I was making the biggest mistake of my life. Night before court, I lined up my folder photos of Buddy with a newspaper and dateful vet records, neighbor statements, all in order. I knew the drill: let the other side talk, don't interrupt, just present facts. When I walked into court, she was already there with 2 huge boxes, a tablet, poster boards, and a look that said she'd already won. She saw my little manila folder and smirked like she was about to watch me get flattened. Her opening statement was a Broadway show, 10 minutes of tears, wild gestures, tales of trauma, and references to statistics she downloaded off the internet. She finished with a flourish, announced she had video proof, and whipped out her tablet. Only there was no video. She swiped, tapped, cursed the Wi-Fi, swore the evidence was right there, begged the judge to just take her word for it when it wouldn't play. After a good 5 minutes of awkward silence and frantic excuses, I couldn't help it. I laughed. Couldn't stop myself. The judge looked at me, then at Karen, who was now purple with rage. I stood up, handed over my photo of Buddy Golden Retriever newspaper with today's date, all in plain sight. Gave the judge Buddy's records from our vet, letters from neighbors, the works. This is my only dog, Your Honor. He's never hurt a soul. Judge nodded. Looked through everything, then turned to Karen. Do you have any proof you own a dog named Precious? He asked. Karen started flinging papers, pulling up internet photos, offering a vet bill she clearly made in Word. The judge kept calm. Asked again, any actual records? Karen exploded, claimed the whole system was corrupt, that I'd bribed everyone, that the judge was against women and the neighborhood was out to get her. Court security had to escort her out while she shouted she'd take it all the way to federal court. The judge dismissed her case with prejudice, made her pay my court fees, and gently suggested she talk to a real attorney before filing anything else. I walked out into the sunshine feeling like I'd just watched the season finale of a show I didn't know I was starring in. And you know what? It didn't stop there. The neighborhood Facebook group blew up. All the folks who'd been quiet about Karen's antics started sharing their own stories, property disputes, wild accusations, HOA complaints. Her petition became a running joke. Parents explained to their kids why the dangerous dog on the flyers was actually their favorite fetch partner. Within 2 months, Karen packed up and moved. The new neighbors introduced themselves by asking if the dog attack lawsuit rumor was true, and Mr. Henderson, a retired vet, spent 20 minutes petting Buddy just to be sure. What did I learn? Well, besides the fact that Buddy's got a better reputation than most humans, I learned that being right doesn't mean a thing if you can't prove it. And no matter how loud or dramatic someone gets, the law still runs on facts, not feelings. Karen's story is a cautionary tale, proof that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing in the wrong hands, and that courts don't care about your drama if you don't have the receipts. So next time someone threatens to drag you to court over pure fantasy, just remember, keep your cool, document everything, and let the truth do the heavy lifting. And if you ever get to watch someone's imaginary evidence collapse in real time, well, go ahead and laugh. Sometimes justice is a golden retriever sleeping through the storm. So tell me, have you ever dealt with a neighbor like Karen? Where do you draw the line between standing your ground and letting things slide? Drop your thoughts below. Share your wildest neighborhood stories. And let's talk about what justice really means, because as you can see, sometimes the truth really is stranger than fiction.